The following program is sponsored by Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. This episode of Mosaic is brought to you in part by the Stacy and Mark Levy Center for Israel and Overseas.
Welcome to our 46th season of Mosaic. I'm your host, Susan Shulman Pertnoy. Mosaic is Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County's weekly news magazine, exploring the most critical issues facing Jews here and around the world. Our federation is proud to support our partnership region of TZAHAR in northern Israel, but not many know their stories and their struggles of the past year. We'll hear from one of its residents and learn what is still needed in the war-torn area. Today on Mosaic. We're so proud to celebrate our community visionaries, donors who contribute $1 million or more, serving as an inspiration for all of Jewish Palm Beach.
The Activate Jewish Life movement is a first of its kind. Intends to connect with families with children, to connect with teens, to connect with young adults. However people want to engage with Jewish life, we want to make sure that we are providing them with an opportunity to engage in ways that have relevance and meaning for them. What an opportunity we have to change the face of Jewish life.
February is Jewish Disability Awareness, Acceptance, and Inclusion Month. Jewish Federation and the Jewish Disabilities Network are committed to the inclusion of people with disabilities in our community. Learn more at jewishpb.org/JDN. Welcome back. Today we have Noa Berger joining us all the way from Israel's TZAHAR region, where she is the director of our Living Bridge program. Also with us today is Melissa Arden, who is the planning officer, the chief planning officer of our Jewish Federation. Welcome, ladies, to Mosaic.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's such a thrill to have you here all the way from Israel, and you too, Melissa, and all that you do. Melissa, I want to start with you. Tell us about our relationship between the TZAHAR region and our federation. Why are we connected?
So about 30 years ago, part of the Jewish Agency's Partnership Together program, which is a program to connect Jews in the diaspora with Jews in Israel for this Living Bridge program that Noa is now the director of. And the purpose was really to make connections and form bonds with one another. And we had this partnership for 30 years. We were very fortunate to have been able to select the TZAHAR region, which is Tzfat, Hatzor, HaGlilit, and Rosh, Pina. Beautiful place in the north of Israel and a microcosm of Israel society.
Noa, tell us a little bit about the region.
Well, as Melissa said, it's a beautiful part of Israel. It's like, well, we call it little Switzerland, but just we have like lots of water springs and everything is green and nature, and we have all sort of animals. It's just so unique and very old compared to the rest of Israel. Like Rosh, Pina, where I live, was built during 1872. So it's 100-something years old. It's actually one of the first settlements in Israel.
Wow, and Tzfat too is very historical.
Tzfat is one of the 4 holiest cities in Israel. And Hatzor, it's a bit new, but it's just a gorgeous place. It's really beautiful.
What type of things do you do as part of the Living Bridge program as the director?
We were working with the community. We have different programs. started at elementary school and go up to broader community. We're working with our schools and centers, the community centers in our region and also the municipalities. And we're just trying to create a better and stronger future for our community in our region.
As you said, you're from Rosh, Pina, and the region has been through quite a lot, which is an understatement in this past year. Can you walk us through what happened on October 7th to you personally?
Yeah, sure. So we woke up that morning and we wanted to visit my aunt and uncle, and then we learned that there's a war in the south. And I have an aunt and uncle who live in the south. So we turned on the news and we just been glued to the TV for 12 hours. After a couple of hours, Israel declared the war. And that was like 11 o'clock, if I remember correctly. And at 2 o'clock, my brother-in-law got called. His unit serves in the north part of Israel.
In the north?
Yeah. And they saw Hezbollah militaries like moving their soldiers around the border. So from October 7th, we moved to the shelter. And
Where was the shelter, and what type of conditions were you living in?
So I don't have a shelter. We moved to my in-laws who have a shelter. And we're just waiting, like sitting ducks, waiting for them to attack us from the north, because their plan was to attack us at the same time from the south with Hamas and from the north with Hezbollah. And we just lived in a military zone for, I think, something like 3 months. My kids' school was filled with soldiers. We couldn't even go to some parts of Rosh Pina. Everything was closed.
But it got worse from then.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
You're just living in a war zone. That means that you have to live your life, take your kids to school or whatever, but also always be on alert, always know or always be prepared to run to the shelter, to grab your kids and run with them to, like, in a split of a second. And then we moved back to our house because we realized that that's our new normal. So we have to adjust, and it was very scary. Like, the kids were really scared, and everything was so new and bizarre for them. And we decided just to go back home because it's like a safer environment.
And familiar for them.
Yeah, exactly. So we moved back home. And then 2 months ago, I think it was September 2024, things escalated.
And we want to hear more about the escalation, but we have to take our first break. We'll be right back after this brief message. Coming up, more from our partnership region of TZAHAR and the impact of our community's support. Stay with us.
I personally want to thank you, Jewish community of Palm Beach, for standing with us, for support us in many, many ways. You know, meeting you guys and see you here during the war in those tough times, you know, for me, it just warmed my heart, and it was really emotional because we never met before, but we felt as really a big family. You know, in those tough times, we can felt, you know, the Jewish unbreakable bond.
One of the best ways to combat anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred is through education. Learn more about the complex issues that lead to hate at jewishpb.org/standuptohate.
Israel's economic security is at risk. The October 7 terrorist massacre and Israel-Hamas war are having a disastrous effect on small businesses in Israel. Now there's a way for you to help safeguard the financial stability of millions of people. Visit jewishpb.org/loansdonate or scan this QR code to learn about Federation's Israel Emergency Relief Business Loan Program.
Welcome back. We're talking with Noa Berger from our partnership region in Israel and Melissa Arden, Chief Planning Officer of our Federation here in Palm Beach County. Melissa, there are over 60,000 internally displaced persons from northern Israel. How has that affected our partnership region?
What's interesting is that that doesn't hit the news that often, so there's equally as many displaced persons from the south as there are in the north now, and the government has evacuated 10 kilometers from the Lebanon border, 9 kilometers from the Lebanese border. Our partnership region is 10 kilometers from the Lebanese border, so we are at the forefront of the conflict with Hezbollah, and that has had severe impacts on our community up there. As Noah had mentioned, since the start of the war, there's been over 12,000 rockets that have come in from Hezbollah. And
so what does that equate to daily?
It's about 33 a day. And as Noah shared, a lot of them are happening consistently at midnight, 2 a.m. And the effects that has on your psyche and your mental health is just extraordinary.
Speaking about that, I don't know, I can't even imagine what it is on you, but how is that affecting the children?
Sorry, it's really, it's rough. Sorry, my kids are...
Oh, that's okay.
My kids are terrified all the time. They don't want to be by themselves. They regressed pretty much everything. They're just scared, really. They don't want to go back home now.
Well, we'll speak about that as well. I'm assuming this is happening with many families. Everybody's terrified. Are you having any therapy? Is there trauma therapy? Is there any help for this?
Sadly, not enough. 2 people need the help and not enough people can give it. So we're just waiting at this point. I'm just trying to find therapists for my kids, but it's very hard to find because so many people in need.
Melissa, how is Federation helping with issues such as this and many others that we don't even realize are going on?
The needs are enormous. They run from physical safety needs to mental health needs. And we are, immediately after October 7th, we supported the Jewish Federations of North America, which is it was a global support effort. And through that support, we were able to help with mental health aid, security aid, aid for small businesses, in particular in the north as well. I just learned of this staggering statistic that about 80% of the children will or have psychological issues because of the war. And this is something that we at Federation are really focusing on, not only in Israel, but also here in Palm Beach, but certainly in Israel. And because we have an Israel office that Noah works in, and our colleague Lior Solomon, they are up to date with the community's needs. They regularly speak to the mayors of Tzfat, Hatzor, and Rosh, Pina, and they understand what is immediately needed. Because of that, we were able to mobilize almost $1 million to support the region directly from our federation. And that included bomb shelters, approximately 10 bomb shelters that we were able to place in daycares and elementary schools. And something that's not often mentioned too is that when there's rockets coming over from Lebanon, the Iron Dome will intercept them, and that creates shrapnel that is causing fires all throughout the north of Israel. And so we were able to support the region again with water trolleys to help put out the fires, and as much as we could. It's enormous and the needs are so great, but every little bit was of some help. So
We have to take our final break. We'll be right back after this brief message. Up next, more details on the support our community is giving TZAHAR and plans for the future. Stay tuned.
The Federation and the Jewish community of Palm Beach have been tremendous. They were the first ones to raise their hands and say, we're here for you. You're our region, you're our family, you're our friends. Whatever you need, we're going to be there for you. And I think at that very moment, we understood the incredible friendship and bond that we've had for over 30 years with this tremendous community of Palm Beach.
And this preschool is where two of my children, ages 3 and 5, learn, and they were two of many children that until a few months ago were having to run for shelter in a nearby building or go outside and lay on the ground and cover their heads when there are rocket sirens. And thanks to the Palm Beach community who answered our call immediately, we have been able to bring several shelters. We've actually just brought our 20th shelter to Tzfat. 8 of them came from your community, and we just want to thank you so much for helping us to continue going about our normal daily lives with safety and security, the ability to carry on, and we so much appreciate your help. Am Yisrael Chai.
Since October 7th, we have seen our community come together in ways we could not have anticipated. And that's what led to the Activating Jewish Life movement. The Activate Jewish Life movement is a first of its kind, intends to connect with families with children, to connect with teens, to connect with young adults, and ensure that they always feel as though they're part of something larger than themselves, being part of a larger Jewish community. It's such a unique opportunity to be able to launch a bold initiative just like this. The Activate Jewish Life movement is going to be a game changer. However people want to engage with Jewish life, we want to make sure that we are providing them with an opportunity to engage in ways that have relevance and meaning for them. Thanks to our partners in the Jewish community and our Federation agencies, what an opportunity we have to change the face of Jewish life.
We're back talking with Noah and Melissa about the critical needs of our partnership regions since the war broke out October 7th, 2023, and what our federation is doing to try and help the situation. Noah, do you have anything to add about what we're doing?
I just want to say thank you. I don't think people here really understand that we really need it. It's really saving our lives, and it's my opportunity just to thank you all for all you're doing. I know that we're at the receiving end, and not all the time you can actually see. But the Federation and whatever, like everything you're doing is amazing, and it really impacts our life.
We have an incredible community, but the thanks is really to you as well for your strength and for supporting the community there as well.
Melissa, how important is it to bring Israelis here to the Palm Beaches?
We've been very fortunate to bring many families over here, and because of our incredible community, they've been living and staying in the homes of many Palm Beach community members. And what I'm hearing from those families is how much that has meant to them, the families that have hosted the Israeli families. It's given them the opportunity to really hear and fully feel what it's like to be in Israel right now. And it's a greater connection and a bond that they're forming.
Which I think is critical for Americans and people in the diaspora to really connect a person to what is going on, and real human beings, a mom, children, and we can touch and feel it. Look what she's living through. I think the educational component also of us as Americans listening to this is so critical to be supportive and understand and know that we have to maintain support.
Absolutely. It's I think we take for granted even taking a shower, and then when you hear from the families that are here and they tell you that I can actually take a shower without just throwing water on my body, it really brings what's truly happening in Israel little by little, and cracking what we have here. So.
Noa, tell us about your stay here. How has it been? How have you seen changes in your children? Mm-hmm. Tell us about it. And how long are you here for?
Wow, yeah. I see lots of changes, like in a positive way. We've been here almost a month now. We came because it was too hard to stay at home. In my neighborhood, 2 houses 150 meters from us were destroyed by rockets.
I hope nobody was home.
They were home, but they were in the safe room. So they're all okay, but they can't really live there anymore. It's very hard not to know if you'll be able to, like I'm here right now, and it's very hard not to know if I'll have a home to go back to. So as I said before, we just left when things really escalated. I just took my kids. My husband joined us 3 days later, and we couldn't go back home. And this where my personal miracle happened, and the Federation brought us here just to breathe, which is something that is so it's really easy to forget how to breathe when you're scared all the time. And just being here and just relaxing and
calming, and to have some calm.
And like, we're not scared when doors closes. We're not like running away. It's just a door. I don't know if it makes sense, but when you live in Israel, every loud noise kind of makes you jump, because you have no idea if it's rockets hitting around you, or if it's like a drone that just kind of trying to get you. So here, booms are just loud noises, and
that's got to be hard to get used to differentiate.
I think it took us like 2 weeks just to relax and just really to be able to breathe and to go places, because at first we were just at our apartment, just trying to stay strong, and then it's I feel like I came from a different planet. Seriously, things are so relaxing here. Like everything is so peaceful. And
well, you live under such insane conditions. You live in a war zone. We can't relate to that here. It's when I'm listening to you, and I'm assuming, I can't imagine the viewers don't feel the same way. It's so foreign a concept to us, and so I can understand how in reverse it's crazy that you're used to that. That's insane. But to come here and see normalcy is...
I miss it. I missed it so much. And I'm really hoping you're appreciating what you have, because you have this freedom of not feeling scared. And I miss that feeling.
Tell us about some of the experiences that you've had with your kids since you've been here. Does anything stand out?
We just came back from Disney World. That was interesting.
That's a rite of passage.
Yeah. So just for example, we came from the happiest place in the world, but my kids were terrified from the fireworks. So we're having fun, but we can't really let go of our previous experience. We're carrying them with us all the time, and now when we'll go back home, my kids are terrified. They don't want to go back home.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's our life. Like, we don't have any other option.
I'm assuming you're watching the news here, and when you see the news, you see things on television reported in a way that's really not the way it's happening. Well, can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I don't think people here really hear our side of the story. I don't think they know how scary it is to try to raise kids in the north of Israel right now. I don't think they know how many casualties we have. And they don't realize that our soldiers are not only 18 or 19. Last week, a father of 10 died, and a father of 8. And people who are serving are from the age of 18 till 50 and above. And I don't think people here know how hard it is to be a part of the Israeli society right now, because we're counting our dead and no one cares about the way we live in.
We care. We care.
I know. That's why I love this community so much.
There are a lot of people that care. You just need to hear it. I promise you. Jewish and non-Jewish people. They're supporting you.
It's amazing, and I have to say that on October, and I went to bed on October 7 knowing that it's us versus Hamas. But I woke up on October 8 realizing it's the entire world against us. And that was very, very hard. A lot of us felt betrayed. And this community kind of what helped me gain faith.
So what are your hopes for the region in the future?
Wow. So I'm gonna say something that will sound a bit weird, but we kind of waited for this war to start because it's very hard to sit like sitting ducks, just waiting and like not knowing what will happen in the future. So right now, for the first time in a year, I think, I'm optimistic because things have to start in order to finish.
Right.
So now the war started and things are changing. I know that we all know that Hamas and Hezbollah are Iran proxies, but we're fighting Hezbollah, and I feel like in the future we'll have a better and safer area. Yeah. Hezbollah will be vanished, I hope. And Lebanon, I really wish Lebanon would be a strong and beautiful country as it once used to be. I wish Gaza will be like an amazing country. I just wish all of them the best because I want them to be happy, because I just want to live. And I know that if they'll be happy and prosper and just like doing their own thing, we'll be able to do our own thing, and it's just living.
That's
all
a beautiful sentiment. Thank you. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for all you do. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
This program is sponsored by Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County.